Another month, another week of Loud House episodes, and this week seemed to have a certain theme and hype surrounding it, and that theme was love, as we got 2 episodes that continued on the story from the episode L is for Love, establishing that yes, the Loud House does have continuity, but only when it feels like it. So as usual, well, only when I think it's impactful on the show enough, I'm reviewing all 4 episodes that came out recently, and as always, I would like to get the obvious out of the way. Racing Hearts is not being judged just because it promotes LGBT, I'm treating it as a normal relationship, while also simply praising the episode for being progressive. Also, please do not hate on this video just because I said something positive about LGBT. Let's try and keep everything civil in the comments, please. So, let's start off with...
The universe is empty, and there's nothing to be sure of.
This episode involved Lucy, and it's not boring. Hey, look, I didn't spell it out, shut up. In fact, it was more than boring, as this episode was actually pretty damn good. Basically, Rita takes over Lucy's writing club because the school principal runs it and is going over all the boring fundamentals of writing without actually allowing Lucy and her friends to get creative. And we get to see Rita do a much better job than the principal, ending on a sweet note between both him and Rita as they both get to run the club. As an aspiring writer, I really related to this episode, and how learning the fundamentals just clogs my brain and drowns out all creativity, but they're still pretty important in the steps to becoming a great writer. Lucy is great as usual, but we also get to see her friends for once. Look, we've seen her before, but now we actually get an episode dedicated to them, so that's nice. And most of the jokes consistently hit, and there wasn't really any lowbrow jokes, which has been an issue since season 1, but you know, has pretty much cleared up a lot if we're talking about season 3 so far. I will say that the first 2 minutes kind of drag, but other than that, this is a perfectly well made episode, but not anything absolutely spectacular that blew me away. Still, pretty damn good episode all things considered. I'm giving The Right Stuff an 8 out of 10.
Rock and roll is running through my veins.
This is quite possibly the most hyped up episode of the entire week, as we finally get a continuation of L is for Love from season 2, and we finally get to see Luna's relationship with Sam progress, and I am aware that Sam has made 2 cameos in season 3 before this episode, but in Fool Me Twice she's just a background character, and in Frenzy she appears for like 2 seconds. Again without speaking. But this is it, the first proper episode of Sam and Luna, and my god was this episode adorable. First things first, we actually get to hear Sam say more than 3 words. In fact, she actually full on interacts and talks throughout the whole episode and appears to have a new voice actress. Which, you know, doesn't really bother me because, again, we only heard her say 3 words prior to this. But did you know she's voiced by Isabella from Phineas and Ferb? How did I not realise this in a minute before this episode aired? Back onto the episode, it has a simple story of Luna, Sam, and a lot of others from Royal Woods competing in the scavenger hunt to win the key to sit this tiny trophy. The fuck? Wow, that's a neat prize. Overall, this was a very cute and enjoyable episode, with most of the jokes landing, although some do fall flat, and the episode does get kind of repetitive at times. Although Lenny on a leash is still fucking hilarious.
Oh no, Lenny got off her leash. Lenny! Here, Lenny!
And most of the downsides are worth it just to get Luna and Sam being adorable for 11 minutes, and I think I am a definite shipper for Seluna now. I already said I shipped it because the show shipped it, but now I think I'm completely on board with it. Even if you don't ship Luna and Sam and go for non-canon ships, you at least have to admit that it's still a better love story than Twilight. This joke will never fucking die. Overall, the entire episode just had me smiling throughout, and I think this episode definitely marks itself as a very progressive episode for the LGBT community. So while it does have some drawbacks, it's still a damn fine episode, just nothing great. I can't really decide between Right Stuff and Racing Hearts for the better episode, so I'll leave Racing Hearts with an 8 out of 10. All you need is love. This is also a very hyped up episode for this week, as it again continues on from L is for Love, and this time it focuses on Luann and Benny, and you know, since Luann is my favourite character, you knew I was already going to like this episode religiously, and it was actually pretty great and very charming. Basically, Luann signs up for the school play to get closer to Benny, that's it. And they somehow managed to make it work really well. I honestly don't have many flaws with this episode. It's funny, it's charming, and once again, it's adorable to the max. We also actually get to hear Benny speak, and he's had his voice actor changed as well, but granted we only ever heard him scream, so it's not the end of the world. And honestly, can I just give massive props to Grey Griffin for voicing Mrs. Bernardo? She voices both Lona and Bernardo, which gives her 2 of the most entertaining characters on the entire show to voice. Seriously, this character is so over the top that it's hilarious every time she even says a single word, with how much she over dramatizes everything. And then we get to the ending, which, well... Yeah, this episode was great. There wasn't much wrong with it, and when something was wrong, it's brushed aside quickly because of the show's fast pace. So overall, I'd probably give this episode an 8.5 out of 10. Oh dear. Okay, so for the last episode of season 3, this is incredibly disappointing and painfully below average. After a week of great episodes, I was expecting them to actually end season 3 on a high note, but unfortunately, we get stuck with a cliche, oh no, he's going to steal my best friend plot. So basically, the plot of this episode is that Lincoln doesn't want to go antiquing with Clyde, so Clyde goes antiquing with Zach instead, causing Lincoln to get annoyed. You've heard this and seen it a million fucking times. Seriously, you've heard this a million times before from literally every show you can think of, and unfortunately it does absolutely nothing new with it. This episode's writing was awful. The only funny joke was Flip's alter ego, and even then it only gave me a smile. It is unbelievably boring, and every character talks and acts like a blank slate. I really don't understand why Lincoln-focused episodes are so lazily written now. Remember back in season 1 when Lincoln was the main focus, and thus all the episodes he was in had some sort of effort placed into it regardless of its quality? Lincoln deserves better than this. The majority of his episodes throughout season 3, except for What Would Lincoln Do, are incredibly cliche and filled with lowbrow jokes. I get that most of the effort was placed into the sister-focused episodes this season, but that's not an excuse for giving Lincoln the short end of the stick, especially because in the sister-focused episodes that Lincoln cameos in, you can clearly see that he has an actual personality and can be funny at times. So you know, it's only a wonder why episodes centered around him make him act like a dim-witted and boring preteen. I guess no week of the Loud House can really be perfect, can it? I'm giving this episode a 4 out of 10. It's boring, unfunny, and it just annoys me because of how the writers visibly did not give a single fuck. And I guess that's the end of season 3. Season 3, in my opinion, has been the best season so far, with some of the best episodes of the entire show being included. And while it had an underwhelming end, I hope that season 4 can be just as good, if not better than this one. I also hope that Lincoln's episodes get treated with a lot more care in the future, because this season was an absolute dumpster fire for him. Anyway, what are your thoughts on season 3, and what are your favourite episodes? Leave them down in the comments below. Anyway, I've been Cartoonchi. Have yourselves a great night, day, or whatever it is in your time zone, and until next time, stay great.
Crashing through the crowded halls, dodging girls like ping pong balls, just to reach the bathroom on time.